Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poisons, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What up, YouTube? It is Two Fat Guys Pull Us, and don't worry, it's not just Jim. But I'm gonna give my my partner in crime. He's still there, but I'm gonna give him a WCW worthy intro when we start the show. But he's in the background. But anyway, welcome to dude. We're gonna get copyright strike. Can't do that.
Oh shit.
Anyway, welcome to episode 138 or issue 138 of Two Fat Guys Pull Us. Hope everyone is having a great weekend, and hopefully if you're here in the States, you're riding right into the holiday, which is on Tuesday. I don't know if you're working tomorrow. I'm sorry. If you're not, hey, enjoy the long weekend. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's talk about our show's sponsor, and then we'll talk about our sub giveaway, and then we'll talk about why we haven't sent out our slabs, and then we'll talk about our show for the week. First off, let's talk about Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. That is our show's sponsor. That is where me and Nate get our books. So if you're ever in the DFW area, we'd love for you to check out Collected Comics and Games. They have two locations, one in Fort Worth and one in Keller, and soon to be one in Irving. I'm currently working on a hopefully, been talking to Ron. We may be able to set up a live show on the grand opening. We'll see. Oh, anyway, we'll see what happens there. We're working on that. Hopefully, we can get that going. But there's going to be some logistics. I'm really blurry. Anyway, with some logistics to tune out on that. But if it works out, we may be doing a live show in Irving for the grand opening of the third location for Collected Comics and Games. So any of y'all who are in the DFW area can come hang out with us, chat. We're going to do some interviews. It'll be great. But we'll see. I'm working out the kinks, but it may or may not happen. But
kinky.
Right. Anyway, the other thing we need to talk about Collected Comics and Games is their website called brainycomics.com. We'd love for you to go over there to brainycomics.com and check out that website. If you go over there, let me check it out here. Whoop. brainycomics.com is where you can go buy some awesome books online. I know John has done it, and also I think Patty, if I'm not mistaken, you bought some books, or at least somebody in Canada did, because Ron showed me the package. So that's pretty dope. The package that you bought, not his package. I'm gonna stop talking. Anyway, BradyComics.com. If you head on over to BradyComics.com, you can do a little bit of online shopping for exclusive variant covers, bundles, bad idea books, new comics, mystery bags, back issues, graphic novels, games, toys and collectibles, and even trading cards. It's a great place to pick up some books. And while you're there and you're doing a little bit of shopping, before you check out, if you do some shopping, we'd love for you to go into that top search bar right there. Type in Two Fat Guys Pull Us, and this pops up. It's a Two Fat Guys Pull Us upgrade and premium upgrade. One's for $8 and one's for $15. If you do the $8 one, that is you get one mixed exclusive cover, which you saw at the front. If you do 15, you get two. Now, if you notice, most of the values of those is about $10, maybe even $15, 15 to even 30. So there's you got a good chance of getting some really kick-ass books or variants over there on BradyComics.com. So do a little bit of shopping over at BradyComics.com. Before you check out, type in Two Fat Guys Pull Us, put that upgrade in there, or the premium upgrade. And then when you get your books, take a picture of them, tag us on social, Two Fat Guys Pull Us, or actually, I think it's Two Fat Guys Pull Us, either on Facebook or on Instagram, and let us know what you got. So that's going to do it for that part of the business, this button. The other thing we got to talk about is our sub goal giveaway. We're on the road to 950 subscribers, and when we hit that 950 sub, we're giving away this King in Black #5 spoiler variant Ryan Stegman cover. Pretty sick cover here, 9.8 CBCS graded. So when we hit 950 subscribers, we'll be giving away this bad boy. And then you guys know the drill. We're super close. We're really not that far from getting to 1,000 subs. And when we do, And we're still giving away this big ass book right here, this original Sentai and Amazing Spider-Man #4, first appearance of Silk. So if you're not already subbed, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated. As for the slabs that we gave away 2 weeks ago, I had a little bit of a rough week this week. I got a new car, and then it broke down. And so I've been dealing with trying to get it fixed and going through the dealership, so I just have not had time to make it out to the post office. But do not worry, I have not forgotten about y'all slabs and your Void Rivals book, Joe, if you're here. So those books are on their way. They will be on their way. When we get them out into the mail, you will get a confirmation tracking code that we will email to you. So those slabs are on the way. So I apologize for the tardiness, but it's been kind of a hectic week. But we will make sure that those slabs go out next week and those comics. All right. Without further ado, let's bring him in. Let's bring in the man, the myth, the one and only Nate. I guess I should play like some kind of like intro music or something. Have some fireworks go off. I don't know.
Something better than that.
Hey. Anyway, shout out to all Canadians on yesterday's Canada Day. Man, I want to do Canada Day. That sounds dope. John, what up? Down with that sickness. What's up, Disciple? Jaden, Calvin. It's been good, guys. Well, I'm glad y'all are here. Let's go ahead and talk about this week's pool. Pretty interesting week.
Let's give it a B+.
I mean, I've got 2 picks of the week.
No.
I have 2. No, I have 2. Intro music would be fire. Of course it would. Yeah, I'm telling you. But that's me. And I think I have good reasons for them both. And I'm not going to sacrifice my enthusiasm for your lack of not reading those books.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. If I didn't read them, then that's fair.
Exactly. So anyway, let's go ahead and kick off the show. First off, as always, when it's that week, we have Amazing Spider-Man issue number 28. Let me just say this. I know you're not reading it. You didn't read it on purpose, and I know because you're frustrated with Spider-Man, but I think you're missing out. Because I have been having a lot of fun with this little mini arc here that where we're not dealing with what's going on with Mary Jane and some Aztec's voodoo guy that's making, I don't care. Like this, what's currently going on in the book feels very genuine and feels very Spider-Man. I had a good time with it. Dr. Octopus has got new tentacles that have got like these little droid goo robots that are pretty freaking cool. But I think what really sold, and this isn't my pick of the week, but what sold me was the artwork. And I do get that. Anybody can really do a better job, I think, than John Romita Jr. at this point.
No, but Ed McGuinness is excelling for sure.
Yeah, and it just feels like a Spider-Man comic book. And there's a lot of detail. The faces don't look like they have tumors. And I think the biggest thing for me about this book that I really liked was the actual new arms for Doc Ock. They have their own expressions. And if you read the book, if you look at it, like I read it and then I looked over it again after I read it, and there's just these fine little details, like when they're being shot across the room or being reassembled into the arms, some of them look angry, some of them look fearful, some of them look worried. Little things like that. So like there's clearly something going on with the arms where I think Doc Ock will probably lose control of them, just like he did with his other pair. But overall, I really enjoyed the issue. I think for whatever reason, why we're on this little tangent, I'm enjoying it. And I think I'm going to be doing the opposite when Romita gets back on and we jump back to the Tombstone. Yeah, when Tombstone comes, I'm probably going to jump off. Because I didn't read that first part, nor do I really give two shits.
You should.
Well,
you can't say that. You just told me that I couldn't say that about something I didn't read, so you can't say that about something you read. It was amazing. The first 5 issues of this run are I would still consider them that arc to be one of the best Spider-Man arcs I've ever read.
Well, they were awesome, right?
Ever.
But then, like the minute I got on, it went to poo poo.
Sure, but it doesn't have anything to do with
Like
what happened before then.
Straight poo poo. Like, and
No,
my trust has
no.
been hurt. Like I'm hurt. Like I'm deeply hurt.
Well, you're not because you're still reading it. Also, oh no, I can't. I don't know how much John Romita is on that book because it's a big book, so I don't know how much he'll be on it. And he's only on that book. It looks like the arc after that we've got an arc with Patrick Gleason, so we don't have a full junior book at least until October.
That's good. I mean,
good.
again, I mean, you know, I sense conflict in you. I struggle, right? Because the one thing about our channel is that we're trying to promote positivity and not shit talk and trash talk. And I don't feel like I'm trash talking, but I can't get behind John Romita Jr.'s artwork. I just don't it obviously doesn't hit a nostalgia thing for me because I wasn't reading comics when he was doing, you know, Spider-Man in his heyday. But to me, it just feels incredibly lazy, and it's pandering to a very small minority of comic book readers who are just like, oh, and you're like, what? So what? How do you feel about Pepe Larraz? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think his artwork is crap? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right.
And I don't want to get into that tangent, but I struggle a little bit, and I try not to play that tune too much, but I just feel like it needs to be said when you have a character like Spider-Man who is so, I don't know, he's top notch, right? For Marvel, he's the number one, really. And I just think he deserves more respect. And that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. It's not facts, but
Sure.
that's just me. Anyway, I enjoyed this issue. I thought it was a lot of fun. This actually was a good book. I agree with Jim. It feels like a real Spidey book. Yeah, I like this book. This feels like a traditional Spider-Man comic. If you put both of these comics we got this month together, it would probably be my pick of the week. All right, Joe. Is he still in the cloned Peter body? I don't believe so. But I don't think he is. Another week. Dismal Man. What?
Dismal X-Men.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Also, Superior Spider-Man is returning. To be honest, so we've don't waste our money. Would you rather have one $7.99 monthly comic Spider-Man or two $3.99 comic or Spider-Man bi-weekly?
I don't mind. Care. Serialized stories isn't really my favorite way to consume stories, so
I think I like the bi-weekly as long as it's good. You know, and also it spreads out the payments. You know what I'm saying? Like a $79 an $8 book, that's hefty.
Yeah.
Especially when we hit some of these weeks where we have like 17, 18 books. So
here's a point that I want to make about this book and maybe about this week in general, because you said you had 2 picks of the week. John said right at the top that this is his pick of the week, and it wouldn't even make the top 5 from last week. So if you were to include your 2 picks of the week this week, would either of them have beaten 3 of the books from last week?
They would have beaten what was last week's? It was Superman, Ultimate Invasion. What was the other one?
You had 4.
I had 4.
I don't remember what all they were. It doesn't. I'm just saying.
No.
They probably weren't. They probably would not have been those.
I don't know. Let's see. So last week, my picks of the week were Hellcat, Superman, Ultimate Invasions,
and Hulk.
So they wouldn't have beaten Hulk. They would have beaten Ultimate Invasions, but that's only because I'm just not. I mean, it was good, but I'm not as invested, right? I need to do my homework on that. So it would have beaten that, and it would have beaten Superman. It would have beaten Superman. But Hellcat and Hulk, were right on there. But that's just me, dude. Don't.
I'm just saying that one of your 2 probably doesn't deserve to be in contention.
Well, do you know what mine are?
No, I don't. Oh, I mean, yeah, I can guess what your second one is. And so this one probably shouldn't be given such nice consideration.
What?
It's just so weird that you like were this pretend Spider-Man fan, and then the second you get on a run, you just poo it.
Whoa!
It's
This
Nick
is not my
Spencer, poo.
This isn't my.
Then
This
you
isn't
get
my
on
pick of the
this.
week. This isn't my pick of the week.
Oh my god! I thought you said this was one of your two.
No, someone in chat
okay.
said this is their pick of the week. It's not mine.
No, I thought you also said it was.
No, this is good, but no, it's not my pick of the week. No.
All right. Then I will shut up.
All right, let's talk about Deadpool really quick. Number 8. Really fun issue. We're continuing the storyline with the symbiote doggy being kind of more important than we know. And I'm really digging the vibe of this group, this mystery mercenary group that's after Deadpool. We're just continuing that story. And we had, another one of these characters who basically are able to mask the world of Deadpool's world to make him think he's living in a reality that he really isn't. It was pretty cool. Overall, I'm still really enjoying the run, and it does feel like we're getting into some heavier shit with Deadpool, and not like too heavy, but I think there's a really good balance currently with Silly Goose Time Deadpool, and then like moving a narrative and plot. And I think Alyssa Wong is doing a fantastic job of doing both, and I think that needs to be commemorated. And when we get her Captain Marvel book, am I picking that up? Fuck yeah, I am. Like, chops. Yeah. And this is a very short review because I really, it's kind of hard to explain. It's essentially Deadpool is in this fake reality, and he can't put his thumb on it until he's able to like literally pull his face off and be like, oh, there's my face. Like, it's pretty crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sad I missed this book this week. I just completely forgot about it.
It was super fun. And so, yeah, I recommend go picking it up and reading it because it was really good. I'm still high on Deadpool. I mean, if I had to pick a version of Deadpool that's currently being in operation right now, it's probably this one over X-Force, even though when he's in X-Force, he carries that book. So, take that with what you will on that. But Deadpool was fantastic this week.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Okay, yeah. Now you're just being Homer.
It ain't, though. That's the thing. It's not a Homer view. This issue was top-notch, fan-fucking-tastic. I'm sorry for my French, but it was. I don't know what I got to do. I don't know how we get Rambo on the show. I got to figure it out. But she is killing it with this story. It is so damn good. And I teased in the new comic book day video because I figured that this is where we're going with. But like, Jen's torn right now because she's feeling kind of used in both instances with both parties, the Fantastic Four and with this villain, who it would appear that he has the hots for her, but we don't know. We don't know if it's a scheme. We don't know if he's trying to steal her heart because that's what he does. He steals things, or if he's genuinely interested in Jen. And we have this whole episode where she's invited onto his spaceship that he stole, and they basically have like an impromptu date where they dance, and she gets the 411 on the dude, and we find out that he's basically a hired thief. He doesn't have any motive outside of money and outside of the thrill, and she gets that. She gets that information, and through that he kind of connects with her, and there's a little bit of spiciness. There's a little something brewing between the two, and as things start kind of rolling, and it looks like we're about to get a kiss, Jen finds out that this dude was selling the parts that he was stealing from Fantastic Four as a bomb. And he sold it. I can't remember who he sold it to. It was some kind of alien race that wants to blow up Manhattan. And she's like, wait a minute. So you sold a bomb to who now? And what are they doing with it? He's like, yeah, they're going to blow up Manhattan. And she's like, are you fucking nuts? He's like, well, that's why we're on my ship. We're cool. Like, nobody likes Manhattan. And she's like, what? And the issue literally ends with her punching the shit out of him through the spaceship. Like, it was fucking killer. Anyway, I'm cussing a lot, but it's only because this issue was really good. And I can't say it enough. If you're not reading She-Hulk right now, did you get it? Did you finally get it? Yeah, buddy, dude.
So I'll start catching up.
Get caught up, man, because it's so good. This is
What issue is this now? 14?
14. Yep. It is it's a slam dunk. And there's clearly some tension going on with Jack as well. Like, they're kind of, Jen and Jack are missing each other, like, and I mean that in the sense that, like, when one comes home, the other one's off to work, and vice versa. And so there's this void, this void of human connection that Jen is missing. And so there's a vulnerability that's there when Scoundrel shows up and is like, hey, come on my spaceship and let's dance. And she's like, well, I'm only coming on to get some info. But the dude's so, suave that, she kind of, there's some tension. There's something there. And, I don't know. I fucking loved it.
I feel like, and I don't mean this to like toot our own horn. It just kind of is what it is. But I think, Marvel needs to probably make sure they're paying attention to their audiences and their sales when it comes to this, because I just think it has got to make a point to somebody, that's making the ultimate decisions on whether a book continues or not. But there are 3 men in this chat, in this discussion right now, that are all saying, yeah, not only is She-Hulk great, but it was my pick of the week. This book fucking rocked. And not only did it rock, but it rocked for all the reasons why the stereotypical chauvinist man that reads comic books wouldn't like this book.
Right.
And it does all of those things, and it does all those things well. And what other book is doing that right now in comics? That's a mainstream, Marvel, DC.
Well, yeah, and here's the other thing. Like, this book consistently has the flow, right? Like, in the sense that when I read it, I know where everything fits, and there are books every week where we read them and we're kind of like, huh? Like, there's some on this list that are like that, where you're reading it and like, did I read that in the right order, right? I've never had that issue with this book. Tone and voice. Rainbow kills it. Rainbow Rowell, like, her tone is there. She knows, she has found these characters' voices very well, and she's doing it excellent. Just, it's amazing. And then the artwork, even though we've jumped artists, I think 3 times now, they've been consistent. And I don't say that. Like, when we jump artists, I get very frustrated with that.
Yeah.
And that's a constant commentary on this channel, is when artists get taken off or moved over, and we're changing, like, that changes the book. And I will tell you now, in the 3, if I think it's definitely 2, but it might be 3 artists that we've had on this book, it has not shifted the narrative or the feel of this book one bit. And so that, I think that's another feather in the cap that you need to that needs to be mentioned, is that this book is consistent, even though there is a lack of consistency sometimes in the artists. That's insane. Yeah. Like, it's a vibe, and I think that Rainbow has set a relationship with her readers. She's set a relationship with her artists. She's set a relationship with her editors and her colorists and her letter, all of it. Like, it's a complete and total package. And I think there aren't that many books currently, whether it's Marvel, DC, or independent, that are doing that right now. So yeah, you're right, Nate. Like, Marvel needs to make sure that this book is continuing. And who said it? Joe, you said 15 last issue. We don't know. It's not solicited it that way on League. And I also saw that Rainbow was starting to storyboard for the next arc. So unless she's just kind of, playing around, and she's just trying to make sure that 15 sells well, I have to think that we're going to get more. We're just taking a bit of a hiatus. For what reason? Who knows? Maybe there's an event coming soon with Marvel that we just don't know yet. John goes, I'm there with you. During the whole dance, I was like, don't. She's going to. And then they pulled the rug out. Bravo. Yeah, I was. I don't know. That's the other thing about this book that's got me is I'm torn, right? Like, I want a little scandalous. You know what I'm saying? Like when it was going down and she was about to kiss, I was like, oh shit, she gonna do it? Like, you know. And I think that speaks to the human condition, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, we just want to be loved, yo. Like, we just like sometimes we just want to, you know, we're human, and I think we see that. I think that's what makes this book so genuine. Is it's got a little bit of everything. You got your superhero, your slice of life, your basic human instincts, your drama. It's all there, and this book does all of that. Joe, the writer did a great job on making me think back and forth if Jen should cheat on Jack. That's damn good writing and setup. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there's this like human instinct in the back of your mind that's like, get it, go get it, do it. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, like, well, what about Jack? You know, like it's great. Joe, She-Hulk is my pick of the week. Dance brought me more emotion between energy. Temptation feels that was more impactful than Superman's fighting Cyborg. Superman, loved the way it drawed me into the conversation or into the combo. Yep, it's fantastic. But anyway, that's my pick of the week. That's one of my picks of the week. So,
All right.
And actually, I don't think I have it on here because we added it late. But my second pick of the week is not in the slide, so I'll have to pull that up.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Did you read Thor?
I did my best.
You did your best, and I think I texted you and I told you, like, I feel bad for Grombek because she was given an impossible task to finish something that was so epic and started off with a big bang and is going out on a whimper. And I think
big one.
Yeah, Joe, big fart. I think the best part of this issue is the cover. That's it. And I really hate saying that because I love Grombek's writing. She really knows how to write Thor. She knows how to write Thor stories, but she was literally handed a bag of shit. Like, because clearly,
I mean, just fixing the problems that there were with this book is just
well,
not a very
it's
polite ask.
Well, is it fixing a problem or is it, hey, we're not going to go in this direction anymore, but we're still
that's the problem, right?
I guess so. But we're still gonna tease it, right?
Right. And by the way, we want Odin off the board. Al's not going to be using Odin at all, and so we want him off the board. So you need to find some way to remove him from the board. Besides, just saying he's not there, which seems like that would have been fine, but
it just felt and here's what it is. It felt rushed. It felt incoherent. It felt paced together and grown back, like literally, like we were saying. They were like, all right, end this for us and do it.
Disciple. I forgot to get the Dustin Warren Johnson cover for this.
Ooh.
Oh, that was all.
But anyway, it just doesn't. I think it does a disservice to Groenbeck because anybody that was on the Thor one with Donnie, and then she jumps on, or not jumps on, she's put on it, right? And if that reader has never read anything from Groenbeck and they read it now, they're like, man, who is this writer? This is ass, right?
Right.
And that's a total disservice because when she was doing Valkyrie, it was fucking awesome. She killed it.
Good.
Yeah. So like, I feel bad. And my one hope, I don't know if I have a hope because like, it's like, we're like, we want Al Ewing to go and do, we want to let him cook, right? He's going to write Immortal Thor and we want him to do whatever he wants to do with the book, right? But at the same time, like, I still want to see Thanos holding Mjolnir infused with Infinity Stones with the Black Death Gauntlet, with the Black Infinity Stone in it. And what happened here was like, nah, that's a myth. It's not real. Like, that's what it feels like.
Right.
And I just think it's a total disservice to Donnie's run. But, you know, we can't really, there's nothing we can do about it. But
yeah, I really don't have much to say about the contents of the book itself. I mean, if you were unfortunate enough to be reading this, you read it, and so you know. But it just sort of ends with Odin and what's his name finally actually going to where they need to be now that they're dead.
Well, and here's the other thing. This arc opened with Valhalla being wiped out, with it being empty.
Right.
And then it's like, we're going to Valhalla. But what? Like, it just felt so meh. I think Joe hits it. People can't say that writing means less than art. Donnie leaves Hulk, fart. Donnie leaves Vanish, fart. Donnie leaves Thor, fart. We can switch artists and still go, but a writer is a gut punch. Thor was actually slightly better than I thought. Were there two artists? One was decent. Groenbeck was handed some pretty weak artists the whole run as well. Yep. Donny Cates is great, but his book plot was created for his style without him. Dead on arrival, 100%. It's not necessarily a weak artist, but just not stand out in any way. I just think the removal of Donnie, like Donnie just had an edge to him. And that's not to say that Groenbeck doesn't have her edge. It's just a different style. I mean, her Valkyrie run was sick, dude. Like, it was so good, but it is not, it's almost a different genre, right? Like, Donnie is like core death metal, and Groenbeck is like sludge death metal. You know what I mean? Like, it's heavier in different aspects. So I don't know. Like, it just, when I texted you after I read it, I was just gut punched. I was completely disappointed, and it's very unfortunate. Let's see here. You can have a comic without a writer, but there is no comic without an artist. Well, yep. Also, Donny Cates is joining Nick Spencer on my list of good writers who I have to distrust because they ditch their stories when it's at its best. Crossover Hulk, Thor. Well,
those all got thrown out at the one singular time, though, right? Like, I think that was because Donnie's life literally blew up in a nuclear fire, not because
I don't think
ditching all those stories at once.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think he didn't ditch. This is all speculation, but I don't believe he ditched him on purpose. I think Donnie's dealing with some shit, and some relationships are changing, and he's got to figure his shit out. And again, we really can't speak to that because nobody knows, and that's his life, and that's his privacy. So we can't speculate on it, to be honest. But something's up, right? Grayson says he's going through a lot, so we just want to say in all seriousness, pray for Donnie. 100%. Like, we only wish the best for Donnie Cates. I mean, this channel, I don't believe would be what it is. It may have not happened if it weren't for Donnie, right? Like, we got into comics, yes, because of Star Wars and because of I don't know, like, it's different for both of us. Like, you got in because you were going for Kylo Ren comics, right? Yep. And then when you went, you picked up Thor, and you were like, dude, do you remember? Like, you should read Thor. And I was like, I don't know. And then literally
Thor's lame.
Yeah, and you read Donny Cates' first issue of Thor, and I was like, hooked. Comics, go. I want to read more. Like, Donnie basically for me got me set up into it. And then, have you read Hickman? Have you done, that just opened the floodgates. So yeah, I wish nothing but the best for Donnie, and I hope he comes back better and stronger, but again, he's going through some stuff. Relationships in his life are currently, I would assume changing, with him jumping off of certain things, and he's got to, Donnie's got to do Donnie, right? And he's trying to get back into the fold. He was going to a Comic-Con in Colorado, but there was some shitty weather, so that got canceled. So, like, it's not like he ain't trying, right? But it's a process, and it's going to be hard. So, it is what it is. It sucks, but I think for me, what gives me hope is the idea that he may be back sooner than later. In what capacity? Who knows? But when he comes back, I will be thunderous applause. I'll be behind whatever. I mean, he could be writing a Barbie book, and I'd be like, I'm gonna read it.
Okay, I don't know about that.
All right, let's move on to our next book, and that is Star Wars Darth Vader Black, White, and Red. This is my other pick of the week.
That's Jim's pick of the week.
I just here's the reason why it's my pick of the week, and let me put the obvious over here, okay? Because we'll get to that.
Okay. This
to me was the most, even though it's the third part of a ongoing story.
Mm-hmm.
All three stories for me it was a complete issue. Everything felt great. Jason Aaron's story was terrifying. Let me put this other one over here. We'll get to it. The last story was really good, and I had a lot of fun with it. And I thought, when I first, after I read the middle story, I was like, well, how is this going to be any good? And it was amazing. It was really good. And it felt, did it have the same pacing? No, and could I spot it from a mile away of what was about to happen? 100%. It was still good. It was still very good because of what Vader was conveyed to be able to do in the book, right? Like, he's literally force choking people when they're, a football yard away, or he blows up a building by just looking at it. Like, crazy. Okay. So there are those two stories. Daniel Warren Johnson is a fucking goat.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. If there are two artists that Marvel has in their arsenal right now that needs to be used more, it's Peach Momoko and Daniel Warren fucking Johnson. Holy shit. His story was, I'm speechless. I mean, I think both Daniel Warren Johnson and Peach Momoko are the most effective artists when it comes to this Black, White, and Red series.
Style.
I just think they are able to convey how this concept is supposed to work so well. And I think what the best way to describe it is every panel, every page with those two artists are like covers. They're like covers, right? There's no, I don't think I've ever looked at one of their panels and gone, they rushed that. It's always been masterful. And with this story, I wanted it to be the whole fucking issue. I mean, I could have just been I would have been happy with that. But Daniel Warren Johnson killed it with this run, or with this space epic story. And I don't know if you've been on Twitter lately. I know a lot of people are ditching Twitter right now with what's currently going on that platform. But he retweeted somebody in the community colored one of his panels where Vader's like literally cutting some dude in half. And it I was like, oh shit, this is what this looks like with color. Oh,
Right.
Crazy cool stuff. So that's why this thing's my pick of the week. I don't apologize for it. Both issues were fantastic.
Don't apologize for it. Yeah, I don't know that I have too much to add. I think that the only other thing I would add is I think this added a really solid block to the Jason Aaron ongoing that's going to make the story as a whole more cohesive and more enjoyable. Again, it's literally just a one issue story that got broken up into 4 places. So
right.
Where it's ending sometimes can be a little choppy, but this issue was not at all.
Well, let me say this. This was the 1-2 punch for me getting the Treasury edition when this comes out. I mean, the Peach Momoko, yes, and now that this is in there, I'm done. Yeah. I'm sold. I don't care. Like, the next issue could be trash, and I wouldn't give 2 shits.
Yeah, but just having that art in Treasury size.
Whew. Don't even. Ooh. Joe, Daniel Warren Johnson is on Transformers. This will be my first Transformers book. This just gets me more hyped for that. I mean, Transformers will be a must, 100%. The dude is just masterful. He's killing it. So that's that for that book, and that's my other pick of the week.
You're right.
You're
you're not gonna miss me on this one. Jesus.
Well, I want to hear what you have to say though.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, let me get to chat while you're gone. Let's go back here. Let's see. The last couple of issues of Doom look unprofessional and terrible. Grayson says he's going through a. Yeah, I read that. Has everyone read God Country by Donny Cates? I was blown away when it came out. God Country. I am on a journey still since I've started reading comics, because I read God Country on trade. I want the individual floppies first print. Like, that is one of my goals currently, is to try to get those books. So, God, if you haven't read God Country from Donny Cates, that shit is fantastic. God Country is amazing. Highly recommend it. Sam here, wishing for the best of him. If or when Donnie comes back, I'll be the first one to sub to his new book. But till now, I'm heartbroken. 100%. I mean, it sucks. Like, Donnie just brought another level of intensity, I think, to the industry. And I think he also inspired a lot of other writers to come, artists and writers to come along with this metal-esque idea of comics. And I think Daniel Warren Johnson fits into that mold really well. So yeah, it sucks that he's not there. Okay, here we go. It broke my heart to hear that Daniel Warren Johnson will not do ongoing comics. He said he gets obsessed and then burns out, so he just wants to tell short stories. Yeah, I mean...
So his Transformers not ongoing?
I don't know, but I mean... I guess I'll take that if I can get 5 issues of Daniel Warren Johnson just going ham. Like, his Beta Ray Bill book was fantastic.
That makes me very sad, but I'll take whatever I can get from it.
Yeah, exactly. Joe, I saw the reading list for Fall of X and will cost over $225 to collect the whole story. How they can justify that?
Because it's not a story. It's a headline for an entire year's worth of X-Men comics. Or an entire segment. It's like no one's really doing the same for like Avengers, because we don't have any other books that have 8 lines coming out at once, right? But Fall of X isn't an event. Fall of X isn't Fall of X is like going to be 10 trades worth of comics.
Right. And there's going to be new comics and old comics and
yeah. So I think it's about perspective of looking at it what it is. Now, if you're wanting to read every single last one of these books, then yeah, I mean that's a steep price to pay. That's clearly a steeper price than I'm willing to pay. I'm not picking up every single one of these books.
No, I'm not. Neither am I.
I honestly am super thankful that I forgot about this book and didn't pick it up, because this book is trash. Like, you warned me that it was like Al Ewing doing his best terrible Cy Spurrier, and that was so spot on that I quit reading it halfway through and said, I literally couldn't care less about anything this book has to say or offer to me whatsoever.
Okay, well, let's get to chat.
As soon as it said, okay, no, you go ahead.
No. Well, you're going off, and then Christian comes and goes, so I'm back again with this week. I loved Harold's, and I liked the other stuff, and I read before the Fall of X. So I asked my shop guy how to catch up, and he said only read X because it's too big, rough. It's massive. Okay.
I'm also railing about one book, not about Fall of X.
Okay. Just
this one. And if you liked it, you're probably smarter than me. But
I don't disagree. Like, I actually don't I when I called you about it, I was like this is when I need comic book Harold, right? And right now he's kind of like on a hiatus because I have a vague idea of what the hell happened in this book, right? Mm-hmm. And we've talked about it before, where it mainly happens in Cy Spurrier's books, where he's like, I'm not giving you all the information. I'm doing this on purpose for the reader to be like, but why? Right? But he's so just thick in what he's doing that as a reader, when I'm reading Psy, I'm like, I can't figure out what's going on to the point where I just don't give a shit, right? And there were hints of that here, and I tried so hard to muscle through that, where I feel like I understand what happened in the book, but I still don't know what happened. And Al Ewing is actually really good at doing that, where he's like, where he writes and he basically goes, I'm not giving you all the information, but I'm making it so relatable and easy to follow that because you don't know what's going on all the way, you're still intrigued, and that's the hook, right? Yeah. And in this book, there's like a sliver of a hook, just the smallest, but you have to trudge through the entirety of the book going, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know if that's because I'm dumb or if that's how Al Ewing's writing the book. All in all, what it would appear to me is going on is that Apocalypse is getting ready to essentially take over Araco, right? Because the council there has fallen, whether to Krakoans or because of Uranos, right? So that's my two cents on it. You know, Genesis is clearly so headstrong and so stubborn, and she feels like Ameth needs to be the way through and through no matter what, and she's going to go conquer what she needs to go conquer. And if she's misled, who gives a shit? Ameth's way of life has always been the way it needs to be, right? Okay. But it just didn't like the Orcus integration of this book just feels kind of like, and we're just gonna wedge this in here, right? Yeah. Who cares? It's more of Mars needs to be more of a forefront player than it is currently. And if there's one person to convey that idea the best, you would assume it would have been Al Ewing, but in my opinion, it's a bit of a miss. It's a miss. So that's just me.
There has been a plague that has been going through the Marvel writers' offices for a while now, and it seems like super intelligent men like Al Ewing, even they don't have the vaccine for it, and it's this really awful doublespeak that just burns me to my core so much that it literally made me stop reading this comic, and then I had to pick it back up like an hour later. And it's when we describe things as polar opposites to try to make it to really drive home our point. And I don't even. This will be my second complaint. It's not Araco, it's not Akaro, it's not Ameth. It's whatever the fourth name is, whatever the fuck place they're in. That place was described as so old before time, it's older than time, and yet it feels young. I could feel stomach bile rising in my throat. Like, that's really, really, really bad. Like, fifth graders don't write that bad. And of course, Al Ewing's one of the greatest writers in comics right now. That's like, how do we do this? Yeah. And so, this way of describing things in doublespeak it really feels prevalent when we're talking about Araco, Akaro, Ameth, whatever the fuck. Which is a problem in itself. Jonathan Hickman had such a hard-on for creating his own mythos that one of the reasons why Ten of Swords fell so short for so many people was when he was introducing all of this mythology and all this new and shoehorning all of this shit into the mutants mythology, and it just made no sense, and it was like we almost needed a Bible to keep up with all the names, or like a glossary to figure out who was what and where and how and what part you were, and all of that stuff kind of, it just showed back up in this issue again and showed why I almost bailed from the very beginning, like in Ten of Swords when Hickman was doing all this, which is why I still think it's so funny that everyone's writing Hickman's chode about the beginning of X-Men whenever there was plenty of flaws in it. But I won't go on about the second one. The second one is the naming thing, but I just, whatever it is, I by the time I got into the middle of this, and I couldn't tell if their fight was metaphor or literal, and I was like, but doesn't matter because like you can like you're not actually gonna kill Apocalypse. I just was like, okay, he's not Apocalypse, he's the Revealer. Got it. That
Right.
was the big thing.
Okay, so let's get into the beat. Let's get into the meat of it, right?
Mhm.
So what do we think Apocalypse is doing? Because he was so out of character through a majority of this book. It was clearly an act, right? He let Genesis go. He lied to her just to piss her off so that she would go and try to conquer Mars, right? So what are we doing? Is he, like you said before, the rumor is that he's getting ready to do, like, we're getting ready to do a third or fourth, whatever it is, Age of Apocalypse, right? Do we feel like that's the case, or do we feel like he's knowing that his wife is going to fail, and that in the absence of Xavier, in the absence of superiority with the mutants, he is going to come in, swoop in, and be the savior for both Arakko and Krakoa? Is that what we think, or is that too complex?
I don't think that's too complex. I think that's possible, but shit, I don't know. At this point, I don't know what to think anymore.
Well, and I think it's also because we just don't know. We really don't know what the fall, and for good reason. We don't know what the hell the fall is going to do. Like, is it really going to end the X-Men books as we know it, or is it just another phase to get us to another year, through another year of X books? We'll have to wait and see. Joe, X books take themselves too seriously. It's comics, bruh. The fun with characters and give us compelling stories to follow. This style is like they're showing off more than entertaining the readers. John says he loves your rants, and you're right. I guess I got stress wrinkles on my damn forehead reading this crap. 76. We will do another Age of Apocalypse. All right. I'm sure. I mean, I
don't think that's a bad thing necessarily.
No, and I've been missing. I need me some Apocalypse, man. Like I've been missing him. Yeah, like when he showed up in Hickman's run, I was like, hey, like this is dope. Another take on the character. So, all right, let's jump over to DC with Superman Action Comics issue 1056. Yo, overall, really good. I think this book, again, is a reason why I'm picking up most of the Superman or the Super Family books.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a positive. Let's get to the negative.
Oh.
And this is where, before we started our show, you were like, let's talk about this and that. And I was like, all right, well, let's wait until the show starts. I am already tired, sick, and could give two shits about Night Terrors. And it's incredibly frustrating when this story ends, and it felt almost like it ended too quickly. And I don't normally say that a lot, but I felt like there was meat left on the bone. And when it ended, it was like, and we'll see you in September because Night Terrors, and you're like, what? You know what I mean? Like, and so that's, if there's any criticism of the book, and it's more a criticism of DC, is please, like, it's getting crammed obviously down our throats right now that Night Terrors is on its way and it's consuming every fucking book by DC. And I'm already not interested, even though I'm picking up 2 Night Terror books next week. That's it. Welcome to my TED Talk. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I've said that whenever we finish Superman last week, that it's just like it's going to be the same way with Green Lantern. It's going to be the same way with Arrow. We've got all of this good faith going. We've got all these good stories. We're starting to get the ball rolling. That door is getting slammed shut on the entire line. Oof.
We just started Dawn. Like, we just started. You know what I mean? Like, in my FOCs, I'm like, oh, Hawkgirl's coming up, right? But wait, I gotta wait until fucking September because we're doing this whole, like, I don't know, man. And then and we'll get more into it, but here's just like a little snippet of it. To me, DC events currently don't mean anything. They don't mean anything outside of a footnote in an issue 3 months from now that's going to go, well, the reason why Zatanna is wearing all white now instead of black is because she had a costume change in Night Terror's issue number 1. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, again, and I'm sure I'm talking out of my butt here. Lazarus, what was it? Lazarus Planet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
Tell me, chat, anything of significance that happened in Lazarus Planet that's currently going on right now in the books that we're reading in DC. It just does not make any sense to me. And Nate said this before the show when we had our little pre-convo. From my understanding, DC's events never used to be like this, but it just feels like the DC events don't mean anything because we're constantly changing the narrative. We're constantly changing the what matters and what doesn't. And it just seems like most of the events just don't matter. And so not only are we doing like a horror DC event in the middle of summer, I don't care. I just don't. I just don't care. So it's a little frustrating. Same sex, yes, I totally agree. John, I'm with you concerning Night Terror's Gym. These titles need room to breathe. Spot on criticism. Let's cut and paste this rant when we talk Green Arrow ending. Yeah, right. I heard that DC is moving locations and this was placed so they had time to move HQs. Interesting, Joe. Huh. That's cool, I guess. They ruined the Power Girl because Lazarus Planet. I'd say it really doesn't, Jim. It doesn't matter, right? Yeah, no, it doesn't. So, let's get to our halftime question from Joe. I want to wait until Nate gets here, but let me know, guys. Well, I mean, who's reading? I mean, did we all enjoy Action Comics? I felt like Action Comics was solid, and it just fuels my my frustration at the fact that we're not really going to get a real Action Comics issue for 2.5 months. Okay, looks like Jim's got to, or not Jim. Looks like Nate's got to dip out. He's got to go pick up his daughter, so it's just going to be me for the rest of the show. So let's get to your halfway question here really quick. Marvel has put out Captain America: Cold War, Sins of Sinister, Symbiote event, and we are only in July. Why does Marvel pump out so many events? I don't know. And to be honest, I haven't read most of them. I mean, I haven't read Captain Marvel: Cold War. I'm not reading the Symbiotes. I've only read Sins of Sinister. So, I think when those events, excuse me, my nose is getting stuffy. When those events are kind of self-contained and they don't necessarily sprawl into other books, I think that's a positive. And again, that's just my opinion. When they start kind of, and I think Marvel took a step back after King in Black and was just kind of like, we need to kind of, let some of these other books breathe, but they want to have events. I think that's a smart way to do it. So that would be if that's an answer. Christian, nothing Lazarus got footnoted in Spirit World, I guess. Comixology Tuesday, number 8 sales book, which could just start with John meeting Xanth in the first book. That's what I'm talking about. Like, these events for DC just don't seem to matter. And they're just sprawling. Like, Night Terror is literally sprawling through the entire DC lineup. And it feels unnecessary and unwanted, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. Let me preface this. I know that there are readers that are super jacked and jazzed about Night Terrors. Great. I'm happy for you. But for me, it's killing all my DC books. Like, they're just not going to be There's just not going to be a lot of DC books. Like we're doing some DC Knight, some Terror books, but we're not going to do all of them. Just not going to. When big events like this go on, smaller titles that are just getting their footing tend to get canceled right after due to people just dropping the book. See, and it's a disruption. So far, I enjoyed Captain America Cold War the best, but one thing I did not like about the Captain America event was the writing felt out of character, but the story was great. Interesting. All right, let's move on. Detective Comics, I'll be really plain and short on it. It felt okay. It feels disjointed. I don't know if that's because of those like history lesson issues, but because I don't get me wrong, I like Ram. I like Ram V. I think his writing style is amazing, but his detective run for me is not really working right now. Overall, the issue itself was fun, but it just didn't. I couldn't remember what happened in the last issue, and that's a problem. So when I got to this, I was just kind of like, I can't remember what's going on, and I'm reading this, and I feel like I'm missing something. And I think that's my biggest problem with the current run right now, is that every issue I read, I feel like there's something missing. Put that aside, the artwork in this book was really fun. It was really fun. So am I going to continue to read it? Yes, but it did feel like there was something lacking in the book. Cover's great, though. Let's get here really quick. As for Sins of Sinister, the characters were the best part of the story, but I don't think they needed to time jump three times. I'm having Sins of Sinister should be placed in one time era. Yeah, I mean, I think for Sins, I think I don't know. I could go back and forth on that. I'm still kind of processing Sins of Sinister, and I feel like it's a major role. It's going to have a major role in Fall of X. It is having a major effect and role on Fall of X. So I kind of want to go back and reread it. I don't remember if I ordered the hardcover or not, but I'm going to have to check that out because I want to reread that whole thing and like just kind of digest it in one reading rather than over a span of 3 months. So, all right, Green Arrow. I liked it, but again, I think this book is, again, just like you said, copy and paste. It's getting displaced by Night Terrors, and I pray to God that when we get done with Night Terrors, this book is still alive, because I'm having fun with it, and for it to be being put on the back burner is kind of scary. Overall, though, I did enjoy it. I think this book is still going strong, and I would have never imagined in 1,000 years that I'd be talking about a Green Arrow book on this show, because I had nothing in common, like had no interest in the character whatsoever, and this book has done, this writer and Williamson has done a great job of getting me engaged with Green Arrow. So overall, I liked the issue. I think it was a really fun issue. I think the artwork's super fun. My only regret is that Night Terror is literally taking over it, and we won't see it here for a minute. Joe, Detective Comics lost me. Ramby went too far with the story. It's just it just feels disconnected, and I don't know what is metaphorical and what's real. Like even at the end of that book, you got this thing where Batman's fighting off his inner demons, and you're like, but if he gives in to that inner demon, like what happens to him, right? And to me, it's more metaphorical than actual physical. So I'm like, okay, but what does that do for the story? Like there are a lot of elements in Ram V's Detective Comics that just feel disjointed. So anyway, Jim, can't wait until you review World Tree by yourself. Yeah, it won't happen because I didn't read it because I'm not reading it. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I'm holding all the books that are getting taken out by Night Terror, so I don't have to wait so long for the next issue. There you go. All right, well, here's my World Tree review. I don't like this cover. I'm not reading the book, so I can't review it. What did you think about it, John? You let me know. I'm sure this would have been Nate's pick of the week. I'm almost certain this was his pick of the week because it's a James Tynion book, and if I was into the book, I'm sure it would have been my pick of the week too, but I'm just not. It's just I'm not reading it right now. I feel bad. But let me know. Did you like it? Was it enjoyable? Did it move the plot? This is where Nate would do his review, but he's out. I'm gonna wait for comics to review Detective Comics because I got bored issue to issue 100%. I agree. I mean, there were multiple issues that I just couldn't get done. I couldn't get through. So what a cover. Yeah, it's crazy. John loved it. All right, well, there you go. World Tree, John loved it. I'm going to go ahead and push the button for Nate here. I think this is his pick of the week.
That's Nate's pick of the week.
I'm just making the assumption there that this is his pick of the week. But I'm just going to say that it's probably his pick of the week. Anyway, I don't know. World Tree for me it's just too heavy. This is coming from somebody that's reading Silver Coin, which doesn't make any sense. But I just couldn't. I don't know. It's just not for me. But I know Nate is absolutely in love with this book, so I'm almost certain this probably was his pick of the week. So I'm sorry, guys, that I can't review it. I really do apologize that I can't review the book. All right, well, that's going to do it for this issue of Two Fat Guys Pull List, issue 138 or episode 138 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. Let us know down in the comments if you're watching this as a past episode. What was your pick of the week this week? And hope that you're subbed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that sub button, please, because we're giving away some cool shit here soon. If any of y'all that are here currently that weren't here at the beginning of the show that won slabs, they will be going out next week. I had I bought a new car and then the car broke down. It's at the dealer, so I've had a whirlwind of a week. So I apologize, but I will be getting those slabs and comics out to y'all soon, and I will email y'all tracking numbers when they come out. Let's see here. I would say this issue is the best of the World Tree, but I'm ready for a change of gears and ramp up the intensity. All the issues feel one note, like a one note. Too heavy, sounds just like my style. By the way, Local Man is awesome. Read, especially if you like 90s image books. The first issue I really had a lot of fun with. Green Arrow was great. Cool action stuff started. Tying up plot points. Actually, like the time traveling. I do enjoy that. And then the Night Terror issue, which is the same Night Terror tease since Free Comic Day. Oh no, not the Bronco. Yep, the Bronco has it's in the shop. Luckily, warranty, so don't gotta pay, and I've got a free loaner car, so that's pretty dope. But that's why things have not been shipped out. I got the warranty. Yes, I am not. Yeah, definitely got that. We are good. But yeah, stay tuned for New Comic Day this Tuesday. It'll probably just be me rolling because Nate had to jump off, and I'm gonna record it here after this live episode. So stay tuned for New Comic Day this Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be talking about next week's books. Pretty kind of a weird week, but should have some fun with that. And then we will see you guys live this coming Sunday. We'll review all those books. Yeah, should be good. So I'm gonna sign off because it's just me. I'm just chilling here. But thanks to everyone that watched live, and thanks to everyone that's watching this as a past episode. So as always, fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Later. Yeah, I am ready for the next issue, Daredevil. I am excited for that, Joe. I'm super excited for that. Which you'll find out in New Comic Day. Put up Extreme Venomverse number 4, manga female Venom first appearance. Oh. Interesting.